Oh, hello. I'm Blake Peebles, DM MD, and welcome to the first ever episode of Aserian Classroom. These aren't mine. Happy New Year, lore fanatics. It's 2019 now, which is quite exciting. I'm sure a lot of you had raucous and amazing celebrations for the new year. That's not something that only happens on Earth. In fact, Aseria has a lot of celebrations related to holidays as well. And this video will be about those holidays. There are 5 holidays that are widely celebrated throughout Aseria. Smaller cultures and groups will celebrate different holidays, but these main 5 are a staple for more or less every single sentient, civilized creature across the entirety of Aseria. Let's start from the top. New Year's, or as they call it in Aseria, the Day of the Great Flash. Before we get into the holiday itself, I first must explain an interesting phenomenon that happens in the night sky of Aseria. At the beginning of the year, the stars and other astral bodies are quite bright, as they would be in a sky with no air pollution. But as the year goes by, the stars dim slightly every single night, until the very last night of the year, in which the stars are practically invisible, even in the best conditions. The very last moment of the year is met with complete and total darkness from the stars. For that briefest of moments, there is no light. But it is followed immediately by a giant and great flash of light. This is what they call the Great Flash. From year to year, the flash changes color, and there are many interpretations and ideas about which color means what, whether it'll be a good year based off the color of the flash or a bad year, but nonetheless, there is always a flash. And as soon as the flash is over, the stars are back, brighter than they've ever been, and the year starts anew. From here, we'll head in chronological order to the Spring Renewal Festival. This festival takes place in the spring, and it is the turning point, actually, from winter to spring. It was originally celebrated the year that the Withering Queen was in the realm, which is early in the Days of Unity. The festival began the day after the Exit Sortilegium sent her back to the Feywild, and for a whole week, those in Aseria who knew of it, primarily in Renarcia, though its practice did spread throughout the rest of Aseria, celebrated with drinking, singing, races, juggling. A lot of juggling at the Spring Renewal Festival, actually. For one full week, everyone in Aseria lays down what they're doing and goes to their respective festivals, depending on where they live. Activities themselves may vary from place to place, but it is a festival about life, about renewal, about the coming of spring. Next down the line occurs in midsummer. It is Vastrin's Day. Yes, Vastrin, named after the famous elven world explorer who single-handedly explored most of the known realm of Aseria. It is one day in the midsummer where there are seafood eating contests, boat building contests, and it's just a general celebration of the seas and the wonder and mystery that they hold. It is a lovely day, many folks' favorite of the 5 holidays. Though it isn't quite as long as the Spring Festival, it is just a little bit more fun, many would say. They take the fun that's spread across a whole week in the Spring Festival, throw some seawater on there, and condense it down into one day. As much fun, a little more salt. Next, and far more somber, is the Beast's Rest. This holiday was started the day after the end of the War of the Beasts. The Valhenshi regime had been vanquished, and the great army of Renarcia was free to rest. This day is a day of remembrance, a day when you remember the dead of your family, of your friends, and of your ancestors, and you mourn them. The day begins very somberly. Folks are known to say no more than 10 or 20 words for the whole first half of the day. You wear black, and many silent rituals occur to celebrate the loss and mourn the dead. Though, as the day continues, the spirit of the beast, they say, is renewed. Spirits start to pick up The silent rituals turn into rhythmic drum rituals. By the end of the night, there are many large bonfires with circles of ritualistic dancing individuals around them. And these long, intensive, exhausting dances that no one knows the steps to and yet everyone does together occur up until the last moment of the night. And at first light the next day, there's silence. To remember and bring it back to those who have given their lives to let those who still live be where they are today. And the next day is, well, rest after such a long night. And finally, the Snow's Harbinger Festival. This one has a bit of interesting history to it that goes way back to the days of barbarism. With the exception of the Great Flash, it is the oldest holiday that Aserians know and celebrate, as its folklore may or may not have some grounding in reality. The Snow's Harbinger Festival may very well get a video of its own, as it is a very interesting creation myth for, you guessed it, snow. In short, a trickster fae who had been banished to the material plane managed to get one of the lords of the elemental plane of water and one of the lords of the elemental plane of air to fight each other on the material plane. And their forces clashing created snow. Now, the Iluith, the magical proto-humans who inhabited Renarsia, at that time in Scambra, saw this, gave it its name, and worshipped it, in a sense. Though many of the things that the Iluith left behind have been, well, left behind, the Snow's Harbinger Festival remains. It is a joyous day filled with gift-giving. The children have mock snowball wars, and as well as a dramatic retelling of the Snow's Harbinger legend that is often acted out by some gifted individuals of each community. It is the favorite holiday of children because of the gift-giving, and they say that the trickster fae who started it all sometimes shows up and adds his own flair to the holiday. Keep your eye out for a future Aserian Classroom on creation myths to have more details about the Snow's Harbinger legend itself. But for now, that makes enough sense. So there you have it. The 5 major holidays of Aseria. Now I hope that was interesting for you. Of course it was for me, for I have a doctorate in my own bullshit lore. So I had a good time writing it, and studying it, and getting a doctorate. And with that, until next time, safe studying, and Happy New Year.